You want me to put that on my Tudor?
No Invictus Closing ceremony. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. First of all, One Young World didn't want her back and haven't made any reference to her. Just shows what happens in the space of a year, doesn't it, when you continue to behave in the way that she has done. And this may have further polluted matters with regard to the schedule surrounding the closing ceremony of the Invictus Games. I turn now to the Reddit thread, St. Harry's wife. Of course, they use her full name, I do not. And there is a post from Kebian2070 that suggests Madam looks to have been removed from the Invictus Games closing ceremony. There is an excerpt that's provided from the detailed scheduled closing ceremony, and it does indeed appear that Harry's wife isn't actually involved, although before she was said to do so. And if one goes to the Invictus Games site, where, if you want, you can obtain tickets, etc., the opening ceremony is described as "Be there when the Invictus Games Dusseldorf 2023, presented by Boeing, are ceremoniously opened. Music stars, unforgettable show acts, and celebrities await you." And in the detailed schedule opening ceremony, we have a minute of commemoration, Guard Battalion of the German Armed Forces, moderator Hadnot Tesfaye and Stephen Gatien, marching in of the nations, video message by the Federal Chancellor Olaf Scholz, greetings by Dr. Stephen Keller, Lord Mayor of Dusseldorf, welcome address by Ziad Oyakli from Boeing, welcome address by the Prince of Pink Pancakes, performance by the Axis Dance Company, big band of the German Armed Forces, speech by Boris Pistorius, Minister of Defence, life story of two participants, and a performance by Macklemore. So that's the opening ceremony for you. No Harry's wife, although one suspects that she may well be sat up on the stage next to Harry, having elbowed her way in and ensuring that she's drinking in all the fuel, because after all she regards it as her games. So one would expect that she would be there, even though, of course, she's not announced. Now, she was originally going to be involved in the closing ceremony, but what does it tell us now? Well, as it stands, the detailed scheduled closing ceremony reads as follows: marching in of the nations, greetings Ted Colbert III from Boeing, presenters of the show Hadnot Tesfaye and Stephen Gatien, closing speech from Frank Walter Steinmeier, German President, life stories with two participants, moderated by Hadnot Tesfaye, speech by Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, performance by Rita Ora. No mention at all of Harry's wife. So it looks like she has been canned. So either she has been removed from the closing ceremony, and that might be because those that organise it recognise that she's singularly unpopular. That in the same way as they have seen repeated responses to her appearance and the way that One Young World doesn't appear to want to have anything more to do with her, could it be the Invictus Games have thought, look, she's viewed pretty toxic these days, and we don't really want to take the glow away from the competitors. It's okay for Harry to make a speech, even though he's not as popular as he once was. They are his games, but for her, it'd be too much. It'd be beyond the pale to involve her. Let's not. If that were the case, and she has been told that she's not to participate, that will not have gone down particularly well. Or might it? More about that in a moment. But let us assume she wanted to appear, and she's been told that she can't. That will have not gone down well at all, because she's allowed to do what she wants whenever she chooses and howsoever she selects. And therefore somebody telling her that she's not wanted is akin to basically telling her that she's worthless, unimportant, and useless. The response, if it was conveyed to her face, would of course provide her with challenge fuel. But the suggestion that she's not wanted, that the amazing Harry's wife, purveyor of all manner of brilliant observations, most charismatic individual on the planet, for Sean Icon not being involved in the closing ceremony, well, it just doesn't compute. So there's a possibility that this omission is as a consequence of the relevant organisers thinking we don't want her there because she's not only going to overshadow the games, but she's going to overshadow it in a bad way because she really isn't liked. The alternative is she is going to appear, but they are cognizant of the fact that she is unpopular and they don't really want to have the site trolled by people going, oh, for fuck's sake, look, Meghan is appearing and she's making a speech. Oh dear, that's going to be fridge magnet platitudes and going to provide H.G. Tudor with more material to analyse. So it might well be the case that what's actually happening is that she is going to make an appearance, but they're just deciding not to announce it in order to avoid potential criticism prior to her making her speech or offering her closing remarks, etc. She, of course, won't be particularly pleased that she's not being mentioned. After all, it accords to status, which is important to her for the purposes of the assertion of control, etc. But she still gets to make a speech, which allows her to look important, manage the facade, and draw in the fuel. The alternative outcome, and something that I hinted at a little earlier, is that she's pulled out of it herself. Why might she do that, you ask? After all, there's a platform, she can turn it into the Harry's Wife games, she can draw fuel from people's responses, it gives her a platform for control, she can manage her facade. Surely she would want to be drinking it up. Well, given the fact that the trailer was roundly panned, racking up far more dislikes on YouTube than it did likes, and the comments section was just the repeated hammering of the gruesome twosome, it could also be that Harry's wife's narcissism is applying an approach similar to that which she does with the United Kingdom. Namely, it deems that it really isn't going to be an environment that is receptive to her, and that because of the lack of popularity, she will instead determine that this is all Harry's doing. Remember, Harry's in the sustained devaluation, which means it's very easy for her narcissism to say, this is your fault, Harry. The reason that people don't like us, it's down to you, not me. I'm really likeable. The world loves me, apart from the racists and the haters, and we all know that they're nut jobs. But this lack of popularity is down to you with your stupid Elizabeth Arden cream-rubbing antics in Spare that you banged on about, and you keep whinging about your mother, and you keep throwing shade on the royal family. No wonder people don't like us, and it's down to you. And therefore, her narcissism may very well conveniently blame Harry for all of this, and she has decided, akin to the way that she performed with Spare, to hang him out to dry again by having nothing to do with him. The fact is, she doesn't appear in the detailed scheduled closing ceremony as per the Invictus Games website and as picked up by the relevant poster on the Reddit thread, but there are potentially 3 outcomes as to why she's not there. She's been pulled, she is appearing but they're keeping it quiet, or she's backed out herself. Time will tell us as to what the outcome was. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.